everyone, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Adelina and I make DIY videos, painting tutorials, and just everyday's life adventure. Now for today, what we're going to be doing is a neutral colored stand-up autumn gnome. And I did get all my materials from the dollar store and I'm going to go over them with you. And basically what you're going to need is some yarn. You're going to need a dollar store sock, or if you have a sock that you like. This is going to be the gnome's hat. So if there's some kind of sock that you like, just remember we're making a neutral colored gnome. But if you want to make it, you know, orange or really folly, you can do that too. It's all up to you. You're going to need some craft material. I just went ahead and picked this one. You're going to need a styrofoam ball for the nose. It comes in a pack of 6. Some embellishments. You're going to need some craft paint for the gnome nose, a paintbrush, some nice sharp scissors, wire cutters. You may or may not need the wire cutters. You're going to need some pipe cleaners. We might use these, we might not. And then these little contraptions, I'm going to go over these with you and I'm going to let you know what these are. And then you're also going to need, the main thing is, I kind of messed up because sometimes I like to, you know, since it's the first time I'm doing these DIYs, I like to experiment just so I don't take all day doing a DIY with you guys. I do sometimes try to go ahead and do the more difficult parts of the DIY, and what I did was I used my last styrofoam cone. I thought I had another one, but I had used it for something else. But everybody who goes to the dollar store knows what these are. They come in white and green, and they're styrofoam cones. They're in the craft section. And like I said, I thought I had another one, but I didn't. So I did go ahead and do a couple of steps on here, but I will explain to you what I did. Okay, so we are making a girl gnome this time versus the boy gnome who has a beard. We're going to do some nice little long braids on her and make her look real pretty. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the styrofoam ball and we're going to paint it. I have portrait pink. You can paint it any color you want your nose to be. And the reason why we're painting this right now is because it has to dry. So we want to go ahead and paint this so then we can just glue it onto the styrofoam cone and it'll be all dry. So I'm just going to, you know, just give it a rough coat. There you go. That's good enough. Okay, now I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. I'm just going to put it right here. Usually it doesn't take long to dry. And the second thing we're going to do is we are going to do the braids for the gnome girl. Now, I know they have these, they have something where you can actually, this is for the braids. We're going to wrap this around with the yarn. And this is for, we're going to do a little pom-pom to go on the end of the gnome hat. We're going to cut this and kind of like put the little pom-pom on the end here. And I know that they have like pom-pom makers. I think they sell them at Michael's still, but I made my own. I just got a cardboard box and I basically just made this little contraption. Cut, you know, just cut it. I made a hole in the middle and then, you know, left this yay so big in the back, because what we're going to want to do is when we make the pom-pom, I'm going to show you, is we're going to wrap it around here and then we're going to have to gather it and then slide the yarn out to make the pom-pom. So I'm going to go ahead and make the pom-pom first, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I mean, I guess most people make pom-poms this way, not sure. So what I'm going to do is, because the gnome is, we don't want a heavy pom-pom, we just want a light pom-pom so it does not, topple it over, or so it could stay on the hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here, not here, but here where there's the hole. Now if you're making a large pom-pom, you probably can go here and then you can just slide it. I'll show you how you slide it. If you want to make your own little contraption, this is the best way without spending extra money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around 20 times. So, whoops. Okay, so I may have gone around 21. So I'm going to gather it together like this, and then I'm going to slide it so it can be in the open side, like that. Okay. You don't want to do it too tight. If you do it too tight, you can't slide this, you can't slide it down. It's going to be too tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my sharp scissors, I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. And then I'm going to take my string, I'm going to, just cut a long piece of string of the yarn, and I'm going to put it in the middle, like this. And this is where this hole comes in handy. And then I am going to tie it really tight, because if you don't do it really tight, these little pom-pom strings will go everywhere. They'll just unravel, come out of this knot. So I'm doing it really tight, and I'm tying a knot, and then I'm going to tie another knot, and then I'm going to go around the back, flip it over, and I'm going to tie another knot really tight, and do another knot. Okay, now I'm going to slide it all the way off my little contraption I made. I'm going to put that aside, and now you're going to go ahead with your scissors, and you're going to cut in the middle all the way down. That's why it's good to have sharp scissors. And it's easier to cut the pom-pom when it's like a small one. The larger ones, sometimes you have to cut a couple times. There you go. Just cutting all the way through. There you go. See, and this is basically all you want for your little gnome hat. And then you can kind of go around and try to, just cut some of the uneven wires and try to cut it around in a circle. You're just cutting round till looks kind of even. There you go. And these are the string that I tied on here. I'm just holding it with it, and that's going to be perfect. It's not heavy. It's not, it's going to hold perfect on this sock hat that we're going to do for the gnome. So we're going to put this aside. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the braids. Now, they didn't have any other thick yarn at the dollar store at the time. They usually do, so I had to get this thin yarn, and they didn't really have that many different colors, but I went ahead and got white since I am making a neutral autumn gnome. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this around. I'm going to do it 30 times so I can have a nice thick braid. And that's 30. And you don't want to do it too tight, because then you're not going to be able to cut this off. So once again, you're going to cut your string on the bottom. Make sure you hold it. And then you're going to cut a piece of string. And you're going to kind of actually, I'm sorry, you're gonna go ahead and cut your yarn off, hold on to it really tight in the middle, and you're gonna cut it. And now you're gonna pull it through, and then you're gonna bundle up the top, and you're gonna basically go around it twice or 3 times, and then you're going to make a knot. Really tight, because you don't want that to go anywhere. Okay, there you go. And then we'll trim that later. Okay, so that's one side of the braid. Now we're going to do the other side. We're going to do 30 more. Whoops. Okay, so now I am going to basically do the same thing I did before. And it goes pretty fast once you start. Okay, so then you're going to cut the end, cut a piece of string, then you're going to go ahead and cut them. Hold on tight to the end. You're going to put that to the side, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your string, holding the end, kind of go around it twice. I know sometimes it's hard doing it without a helper, and then you're gonna, it's easier if you lay it down, and then you're going to tie it really tight. Just do a couple knots. There you go. Now you have your 2 braids. Okay? So, now what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cut that excess string off where you tied it. Now you're going to make a braid, but you're not going to do it tight. You want it nice and loose. You're going to kind of try to do the strings even. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're just going to do a loose braid. Once you get started with the braid, then it gets easy. Okay, see? And I'm just making a really loose braid like that. And then we can actually, puff it out after we're done with it. And then you're going to go ahead and kind of do it all the way to the bottom. Okay, like that. And then you're going to go ahead and take a little bit more of that string and then you're going to tie the bottom again. Just cut a little piece off. And then we're going to fix the bottom and adjust it and everything later. Go. So that is one of our braids. See, and then we can play with it and make it a little bit fuller like that. See? And then we'll go ahead and cut the bottom even. And then you're going to do the same thing to this one. You're going to braid it and then you're going to tie it off on the bottom. And don't worry if one is longer than the other because we're going to trim everything. Okay, so when you're done with your braids, you're going to put those aside. So now you have your 2 braids, your nose painted, your little puff ball that's going to go on the top of the hat, and then you're going to take your craft fabric. And this is the part that I did off camera because I wanted to make sure, there was an easy way to actually show you guys how to do it. Even though I have already glued it on here, you see how perfect it is? Very easy. And I I did embellish the bottom with this little lace, this crochet lace that I got from the dollar store. And I basically just ran it all on the bottom on the very edge, and then I glued it. I just put like little dots of glue. I didn't put too much. I basically just put little dabs, and then I just outlined the bottom because this is her dress. And then what you're going to do with the material is, so let's pretend I do not have material on here right now. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to take the edge of it, and you're going to take your glue gun, and you're just going to, so if I hadn't glued this already, I would just take my glue gun and I would put a little bit of glue here, and then I would start like this on the very edge. And then I would put glue and then come around. And then, so I'd probably go ahead and cut this like this, because that's what I did the first time. I just cut it. So this will actually give you like 4 gnomes with this material. So what I did was, so I glued this on the very bottom. You don't want to put too much glue because this is styrofoam and it'll burn through it. So you're just putting little dots. And then I basically just kind of stretched it. As you're gluing, you're stretching and you're gluing. And then this is going to be all stretched like this, but you're still going to be gluing down here. And then you're going to glue. And this right here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to glue right here, hold it down. It's going to overlap a little bit, but that's okay. You're not going to see that. And then I did go ahead and I did cut this right here off at an angle. So I glued this. And then I finished bringing this around, and then I just pulled it like this, and then I cut all this excess off. So that's what I did, and then this is what it looked like. So you see how it overlaps there, it's okay. And then on the top, you're just going to cut it, and you're just going to cover it up like this. It's okay if it looks sloppy on top. The hat's going to cover. You're not even going to see that. Okay, so, and this is what you have. And okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and so now we have almost everything done. We have the body, the hair, the nose. Now we're going to take a sock. And I actually took a Sharpie, and you're going to cut it at an angle. So basically you're going to start right here. And oh, by the way, I have this inside out. I took my sock, I put it inside out. I have the heel facing to my left. And you're basically going to cut from the tip of the heel right here, and you're basically going to cut up like this. You see that? Actually, put the bottom of the hat towards you, because that's easier, because you can picture that. So this is going to be the top of the hat with the little fold that you're going to make if you like. And then you're just going to cut kind of like from the side right here. And then you're just going to cut like across, right underneath where the foot, where the edge of the foot is, where that crease is, where you put your toes in. Sorry. So you're just basically going to cut across. You're just going to watch. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one for you. And I did go ahead and outline it just so you could see better. I don't know if you could actually see that, but I try to pick a darker color. So you're just going to go from here. You're probably going to leave a finger from the bottom, and then you're just going to cut straight across, right underneath where your toes go. So this, you disregard this, but I wouldn't throw it away. If you craft a lot, you can actually use this for stuffing, different hats, or, so I save all my scraps. And what you're going to do now, I'm actually going to show you how to do the hat. I'm going to take my glue gun and you're going to at the very edge, you're going to unravel because it's going to try to roll on you. At the very edge, you're going to put glue at the very edge. And you're not going to do it all at once because the glue dries quickly. So just at the very edge, you are gluing the edge of this sock. See? Look, the edge, just the edge. And you're going to, now I'm going to do the rest. And I'm going to, just the edge. Be careful. If you have those rubber finger, glue finger thing, you know, so you don't get burnt, now's the time to use them. Unfortunately, I still can't find mine, so I might have to buy some new ones. Okay, so you just wait a little bit. See, some of this isn't glued. I'm going to go ahead and glue it. There you go. And just the edge. Because you're going to have to flip it. Okay? So now we're going to try to flip this. You're going to, all that should be dry. You're going to slowly try to stick your finger as far down as you can so you can flip that over. Just keep going. If the very edge doesn't flip, that's fine. Okay, and here I go. There you go. Look at your cute little gnome hat. You see that? You see how easy that was? Now you have a gnome hat. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take this pipe cleaner and you're going to put it into this hat, and you're going to try to make it go up as far as it goes. So then you can maneuver the hat, you know, how you want it. Now you don't have to do this because this hat will be fine on its own. Watch, I'm going to show you. See, it's going to go this deep. See, and if you have this pipe cleaner, it kind of holds it up. Or if you don't want to use the pipe cleaner, you can stuff it. Remember, you have extra stuffing. So if you want to stuff it, actually, let's go ahead and stuff it, because I want to show you how it looks. So I'm just going to take a little piece of this leftover sock. Just going to fold it like this, and I'm going to stuff it as far up. I'm going to use my brush, my paintbrush, and I'm going to kind of try to stuff it as far as I can do it. And you kind of just play with it. There you go. And then I'm going to do a little bit more. Not a lot. It's a small hat. There you go. See? Look how cute that is. And then you are going to take your little pom-pom that we made, and you're going to cut the ends off. Like that. And you're going to put a dab of glue. And you're going to hold that little end of the hat, and you're kind of just going to put that pom-pom on the end and hold it. Doesn't take long. And there you go. There is your cute little hat, your gnome hat with the little pom-pom. We stuffed the center a little bit. There you go. Okay, so Now what I'm going to do is, what we're going to do actually, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the hat. So we already have, you know, the base of the gnome. She has a dress or whatever she has, whatever you want her to wear. But we already have the cone styrofoam covered and the material of your choice. I chose all neutral colors, like I said. This time, instead of choosing like really fall-y colors, I just went with neutral colors. I chose grays, light yellows, and white. Okay, so now we're going to put our hat. Actually, hold on. We are going to get our braids. Remember, we made the braids. So now we're grabbing the braids. Now, I did go ahead and complete my braids off camera, and it's the same thing that we did together, except you're going to want, where you tied it off, you're going to just measure it. So it can kind of just go to the end of the cone. And what I did also was, I had some black and white gingham ribbon from the dollar store, and I just made a little bow. And then I did trim off the bottom, so it just reaches the bottom of the cone. You see that? It reaches the bottom of the cone. And you can put whatever you want. You know, you can put like a flower, you can put raffia. I just chose to do the ribbon. So now what you're going to do is you're going to, where you tied it off, on the very top, you're going to put some glue, and you're going to go ahead and press down with that one side of the braid. Okay, now I'm going to get my other braid that I did the same thing. I made a little bow at the end, and then I cut it to length, and I'm going to put this on top of the other one, and I'm going to kind of try making sure it's kind of like the same, making sure it's the same length. So I'm going to put it more like this to the side, and that's the same length. So whoops, you can play with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue here this time. Put a little dab, or a couple of dabs I should say, and then this one is going to kind of go to the side so it could be the same length. So I'm just holding on to that a little bit, and there you go. You don't have to worry about this. You're putting your hat on. Remember, you're putting your hat on, and this is what it looks like. See, the braids are even. I kind of fluffed out my braids. You can just, you know, fluff them out like this, make them look fuller. And you can choose any color yarn you want for your gnome. Now I'm going to take my hat, and I'm going to put my hat gently over the braids, halfway down my cone on the back. I did flip it up and gave it a little rim. And before I glue it in the back, okay, we're going to lift it more in the front. Front, you don't want it that, because I am going to kind of like scrunch up my hat like this to make it look all scrunchy, like this. See? Okay, now before you glue anything, the back of the hat or anything, you're going to take your nose, and you're kind of going to put it maybe half a finger from the top. Okay, so you're going to generously put glue on the back of your nose, and you're going to put it in between the braids, and in the middle, you're going to hold it for a little bit. Okay, there you go. And now what you're going to do is you're going to put a little dab right here for the hat, just halfway down the nose. You don't need that much glue here. So I'm going to kind of, because I wanted mine actually turned up because I thought it was cute. So now I'm going to hold it down like that. Maybe I'll cut that off. I think it's from the sock. Okay, and now I'm going to make sure this is, I'm going to glue this in the back. So I'm going to bring this up, and you can make the back go down as far as you want. It's just for stability because you don't want it coming off. You're going to hold that for a while, just a little while. Okay. All right. Look at that. Look how cute that is. Look how cute that is. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. You can even, I didn't think about it till now, and I don't have any extra ones. You could probably even, you know, put little buttons, or look at that. Let's do that. Isn't that cute? Take my wire cutters. Let's go ahead and cut the back off of these. Maybe just put them right there like little buttons. You can put regular little buttons too if you have them. I just don't have them, so I think I'm going to put the little sunflowers because that looks really cute. See, and it matches her dress. Her dress is gray and yellow striped. Look at that cute. I love it. And I did go ahead also off camera. I did take some more of these little tiny sunflowers. They have different sizes at the dollar store. And I did take a little piece of raffia and I made a bow, and then I glued 2 of the sunflowers on the raffia, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on her hat. Okay. Oh my goodness, look how cute that is. Look at that. Is that not adorable? That is just so cute. And you made it with, you know, all dollar store stuff. And I have seen some of these at Hobby Lobby. Like they want, I don't know, anywhere from like $16 to $18 for one of these. I mean, and you can make your own with dollar store stuff. Look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? That is just precious. Look. Now, I did go ahead and I made a boy for her. I made a little matching mate for her. And here he is. Isn't he cute? Look at that beard. He's just precious, isn't he? Look at him. Look at those. I mean, those look store made. It's like, now, I will tell you, if you want to go ahead and do the boy gnome, you do everything exactly how you did the girl, except you're not making the braids. What you're doing is you're making a beard. And how I made this beard is I bought at the dollar store. Go ahead and get this for you so I can show you. I got this mop. They have a multicolored mop at the dollar store, and it's gray and white. And basically what I did was I cut off 3 strands. Actually, I cut off six strands. I cut off 6 strands, and when I cut them off at the top. I tied them off, and then I very carefully I undid each little, it has like a notch, you know, in the mop. So I very carefully, I took a needle and I kind of like just pulled the thread up. It's very easy to do, but you know, just be careful. I did poke myself a couple times. So you just, in between these, you just lift up, there's like little thread keeping it together like that. And I used 9 of these, and then I folded them in half, and then I opened them up. I just opened them up, and then I glued it underneath the top of the styrofoam tube. So right on top of the, not on top, here's the top. So right underneath where you put the nose, I just went ahead underneath this nose. I basically just, you know, glued the mop strings in there. And then I also took 2 more little strings and I folded them in half. And then I cut them. And then I spread them apart and I made a little beard. So that's why this one is shorter than the other one. And I kind of, you can also use the plain white mop head that they have and do the same thing. But I like this one because it had the gray and the white and it kind of matched, you know, the theme that I'm going with, and matched his hat and matched her hat, and I wanted them kind of to match. And then I also did put a larger sunflower on his hat. So there you go. Aren't they adorable? I really hope you enjoyed this DIY. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss any of my upcoming DIY videos. Until our next creative rendezvous, stay inspired.